Welcome. Let's dive right into demystifying personal financial statements and, more importantly, taking absolute control of your financial health in this explainer. If you've ever felt like your money is doing one thing while you're actively trying to do another, well, you are definitely in the right place today. We're going to break down the core components of a balance sheet by exploring some really fascinating insights from our source material. Together, we'll transform what is usually seen as, let's be honest, a tedious accounting task into a clear, empowering visualization of your entire financial world.
So, I've got a question for you. Do you know your actual financial health? And I don't just mean how much you make every month, but your true, overarching financial health? Look, if you've ever felt intimidated by accounting jargon, don't worry for a second. We are going to treat your personal finances just like taking your vital signs at a doctor's visit. Think about it. When you go to the doctor, they don't just ask how you feel, right? They actually measure your blood pressure, your heart rate, your temperature. Well, to truly understand your financial well-being, we have to measure the financial equivalence of those exact same vital signs.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We'll cover your financial health checkup, assets, liabilities, and net worth, the balance sheet versus the income statement, the importance of tracking, and finally, evaluating with key ratios.
Section 1. Your financial health checkup.
Okay, so we really need to reframe how we view all this paperwork. I want you to think of a personal financial statement not as some dry, boring corporate document you throw together for a bank, but as the ultimate diagnostic tool. It tells you exactly where you stand financially. Our source material really emphasizes that understanding your balance sheet starts with recognizing it as a diagnostic baseline. Just like an X-ray shows the physical structure of your bones, a personal financial statement reveals the structural integrity of your finances. It essentially strips away all that day-to-day noise, buying groceries, paying the electric bill, and shows you the hard, undeniable reality of your financial physical health.
Moving on to Section 2. Assets, liabilities, and net worth.
All right, first up is an asset. Based on our source, an asset is, quite simply, an item of value that you own. Think of these as the positive building blocks, or maybe the healthy cells of your financial body. We're talking about the cash in your bank account, the value of your home, your investment portfolios, or even a vehicle you own outright. Basically, if it holds monetary value and belongs to you, bam, it goes right into the asset column. And the ultimate goal of financial health, of course, is to consistently grow this specific category over time.
Now, on the flip side of that equation, we have liabilities. I know, it can be a scary-sounding word, but it simply means debts and obligations that you owe. If assets are those healthy cells we just talked about, liabilities act as the structural loads, or the stress, on your financial system. This includes things like your mortgage, student loans, credit card balances, or a car note. It's essentially money that is legally spoken for by someone else. But what's really interesting here is that having liabilities doesn't automatically mean you're financially unhealthy. It's kind of like carrying a heavy backpack. It doesn't mean you're physically weak, right? But it absolutely means we have to manage that weight very carefully.
So it all comes together in one beautifully simple equation. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. When you take the total value of everything you own and subtract the total of everything you owe, you get your net worth. This single number is the ultimate measure of your current financial health. It is literally the bottom line of your personal balance sheet. Now, if your number is positive, great, you own more than you owe. If it's negative, it just means the stress on your system currently outweighs your healthy building blocks. Either way, knowing this exact number, whether you like it or not, is the very first real step to financial empowerment.
Which brings us to Section 3. Balance sheet versus income statement.
Our source material highlights a really crucial difference here. An income statement tracks money coming in and money going out over a period of time. It's like a movie of what happened over a month or a year. Did you earn enough to cover your expenses in July? That movie is your income statement. But the balance sheet is a snapshot frozen in time. It honestly doesn't care what you earned last Tuesday. It only cares about exactly what you own and what you owe at this precise millisecond. You absolutely need the movie to understand your daily habits, but you definitely need the snapshot to know if those habits are actually building long-term wealth.
Let's jump into Section 4. The importance of tracking.
A central theme from our source is the sheer importance of tracking and analyzing your personal financial position. Look, it's one thing to calculate your net worth once, but it is an entirely different ballgame to monitor its trajectory. You simply cannot improve what you do not measure. Making routine tracking a normal part of your life is just as important as scheduling that annual checkup with your doctor. It acts as preventative care. If liabilities start creeping up faster than assets, tracking gives you the early warning system you need to correct course way before it ever becomes a crisis. This actually builds into a super practical two-step system. Step 1, track your position. Step 2, analyze the changes. Tracking just means updating the numbers, logging your new bank balance, updating your loan payoff amounts, things like that. But step 2, analyzing, well, that is where the magic happens. You might ask yourself, why did my net worth drop this quarter? Oh, right, because I took on a new car loan which bumped up my liabilities. Or, wow, why did it jump? Because my home value increased, boosting my assets. By actively analyzing these changes over time, you completely empower yourself to make strategic decisions for your overall financial fitness.
And finally, Section 5, Evaluating with Key Ratios. An absolutely crucial vital sign pulled from our source text is the debt-to-income ratio. This reveals exactly what portion of your total monthly income pie is consumed strictly by debt obligations. Basically, your liabilities in motion. If the slice of the pie going toward debt is too large, it literally chokes off your ability to build assets. Measuring this ratio tells you instantly if you're over-leveraged. Again, it's the financial equivalent of checking your blood pressure. If it's too high, your whole system is under a dangerous amount of stress.
Similarly, we have the savings ratio, which is another huge indicator. It shows how much of your income pie is actively being retained and directed towards savings and investments, rather than just flying out the door as expenses. If the debt-to-income ratio is your blood pressure, your savings ratio is your heart rate. It's a direct indicator of how efficiently you are pumping new life and new assets into your net worth over time. A healthy, growing savings ratio slice means you are actively, intentionally funding your future financial health.
So tying this all together, evaluating your financial health really requires a multi-pronged approach. You've got to consistently monitor your net worth to see the big picture. You have to track your debt-to-income ratio to ensure your liabilities aren't completely overwhelming your cash flow, and you must analyze your savings ratio to guarantee you are steadily building up those assets. By consistently checking these 3 distinct indicators, you're giving yourself a complete, ongoing, and totally accurate diagnostic picture of your financial health.
You know, checking your net worth and calculating these ratios for the very first time can sometimes feel a bit confronting. Honestly, it can feel a lot like stepping on the scale right after a month of heavy holiday eating. But remember, this isn't about judgment. It's about diagnostics and empowerment. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. What will your balance sheet look like next year? Now that you actually have the knowledge to map your assets, manage your liabilities, and track your key ratios, the power to change that snapshot is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep tracking, keep analyzing, and keep building.